Hello, my name is Lou Perez. I am the founder and CEO of Sponsorship Guru. Sponsorship Guru is a platform that helps international students in the US to connect with employers that are willing to do work visa applications. I used to be an international student myself, so I understand firsthand how challenging it can be for someone like you, an international student, to connect with employers that are willing to do work visa applications. On this video, I want to show you the fastest ways to connect with employers that are willing to do work visa applications. So this is going to be an example. Think of it as a case study. And in this particular example that we're going to go together through, I am going to assume that I am graduating as a civil engineer from a university in Florida, in this case, Florida Institute of Technology, and we're going to be looking for a job basically in the area, okay? So hang tight, pay attention, and I'm going to show you the fastest way to connect with employers in the US as an international student.
When you're looking for a job in the US, you have two enemies, so to speak. You have time running against you, okay? Usually the time that you require to find a sponsor and then to go through an immigration process can sometimes equal to or exceed the time that you have with your OPT to get a job. The second enemy that you have is lack of transparency. So you don't necessarily know which companies are willing to do work visa applications. So it puts you in a position where you have to apply for way more jobs than anyone else to be able to connect with that company or those few companies that do sponsor. So in this case, we're going to look at other platforms like Monster.com, where in this case I'm putting in civil engineer because that's what I'm looking for, jobs in Melbourne, Florida. So if we run that query, we will find, let's take this first job right here. So let's click on it and see what we have. So typically when you're applying for a job, you have to make sure that you're a good fit for that company. And in this case, we see, well, it's civil engineering, and they tell you, you need communication skills, and it's in construction. They give you certain information about it. And now you would spend time analyzing if this job is the right fit for you. So you would read through all of this right here, okay, and make an assessment whether that's still the kind of person that you are. We talked about doing entry-level jobs. Here, of course, they're doing a minimum of 4 years, so maybe not the right fit for you immediately, but assume for a moment that this company didn't have that minimum requirement, and you would keep reading about this company, and you have no indication, if you read through everything, about their disposition to do a work visa application. Tell you a little bit about their history. They tell you, certain restrictions like, well, they don't work with outside recruiters, which some companies do. They prefer to deal directly with the employee, which they tell you right here. But there's no indication that they would not do visa applications unless you pay. You notice that they mentioned twice here. Here they said TLC participates in E-Verify, and they mentioned that here one more time. So I tell you twice, E-Verify. For the untrained eye, that doesn't mean a whole lot. For someone who understands the industry, I will tell you that any company that shows E-Verify, they're automatically telling you that they're going to run your name through a system to assess if you're legally allowed to work in the U.S. Those kinds of companies typically exclude you as a candidate. Now, imagine all the time you invested at the top of this email trying to make the assessment whether you're the right fit for them to even apply, and you have wasted at this point, quite a bit of time, looking into the company before you move on to the next one. So that's why we don't love using just any kind of platform. We like to use platforms that are where their disposition or the disposition of a company's or their willingness to hire international people is more clear. So in this case, what I would prefer to use is LinkedIn. I would prefer to use LinkedIn. So I have another tab open with my LinkedIn profile. I would go to jobs, of course. And in this case, I would look for a job, civil engineer, okay? And I am going to get a list of options. So here on the left side, we see several options for jobs available in civil engineering. And I'm going to start off with this one right here, civil engineer at AECOM. And again, if I were to use the same strategy that I used with while I was looking for a job at Monster, I would kind of like, start reading and look at, what they do, who they are, then look at the job description, assess what exactly they're looking for and read through all this. Okay. Then look at the qualifications, and kind of match myself to that. I see here, of course, this is plus 8 years. For a moment, assume that we didn't see that, and the kind of experience that they seek. So it would take me a while to go through all of it and even make an assessment. The first thing that I would try, I'm going to show you a little trick, is to use an extension called Sponsorship Guru. That's the company that I started, that I founded. And I would click on this little guy right here, this icon, this extension, and the extension will show me the company that I just pulled up. You can compare to see that the name is here is the same, and I'm seeing here that it doesn't have any stars. It has no rating because this job doesn't sponsor or it requires security clearance. So I just saved myself by looking at this, by clicking on this icon. I saved myself minutes of assessing the job. And now immediately I know that I should not waste any time or energy with this position because it doesn't sponsor. Okay. In this case, let's take a look at why they don't sponsor. So we looked at this job description, preferred requirements, additional information, and right here we see it. Sponsorship or U.S. employment authorization is not available now or in the future for this position. So in this case, they're openly telling you that they don't do it, but this extension is saving you the time to find that information. It's actively looking for that and many other clues that they may not sponsor. So it saves you time, and now you don't have to spend minutes assessing if this position is the right one for you. So I would move on to the next one. And now we see another company. This is called PTS Advance. I would again go to this icon, this extension, to get the information immediately if they sponsor it or not. And we see, takes a moment because it's looking at all the information, and it says it's highly recommended for its robust sponsorship history. And so in this case, well, we see that it has 3.9 stars out of 5. Okay, and so we know we're in the presence of a company that may not have done work visa applications before, but they look like a good candidate. And it's basing that on several factors that it's kind of contemplating here. It's looking at how old the application is. So it's 2 weeks, and it has only 42 applicants, and it's looking at the kind of job that it's offering and comparing it to a database of companies and positions that have been hired for and done work visa applications for in the past. So if I were an international student, I would say this is definitely a company that I want to apply, provided that it matches my profile. If they're looking for someone with the experience that I have, which will be entry level, this pay wise, based on the pay, it looks like it's the base salary being that high. They're probably looking for someone who has a little bit of experience in the field. So you make that assessment for yourself. Let's try one more. Let's look at this job at American Engineering. So let's see at the top here. American Engineering is offering a job that ranges from $80,000 to $120,000. And instead of going through the exercise of reading the whole thing, I would go straight to my extension, click on it, and you see that name appears here that matches what I've been looking for. And oh, surprise, they are a verified visa sponsor. They have done work visa applications before. Now the score 3.3, it's a little bit lower, but the fact that they have done a work visa application in the past is a great indication that they're willing to do it again. So statistically, 97% of businesses that have done one work visa application do it again. Because you just do it again, and so you're in good hands here. They have done one before, okay. The one time they did it, it was not necessarily an international student, but they did a work visa application, which again speaks volumes of their willingness to sponsor. So I minimized this, and this is a company that I would absolutely take the time to apply for. And as you can see, we evaluated 3 companies that without this extension, you would have never known which one was the right one to go after. So in this case, we ruled out AECOM, and we focused our attention on PTS Advance and American Engineering. These 2 companies would give me better results. Now, imagine applying this tool over the course of many different jobs that you come across, how much time you're saving, and the compound time that you save allows you to make way more applications and increase your chances of connecting with a company that is willing to sponsor.